Hi, I'm Jay Goldman, and you are watching Status Update on Butterscotch.com. Today, our pick for the top 5 social media stories of the year. Now, many are called, the few are chosen, so we had to go through a lot of things to pick our top 5, and we didn't necessarily select based on viewership or number of followers or anything like that. These were stories that we felt best represented the year in social. Not in any specific order, starting with our first story. This was a great example of how not to do social. Everybody obviously remembers the massive oil leak in the Gulf of Mexico, which was caused by the Deepwater Horizon oil rig explosion on April 20th. Leaked for about 3 months, 4.9 million barrels of oil, biggest accidental marine spill in history. And the official PR response from BP was horrible. They had awkward interviews with the CEO. They released intentionally misleading and false statements downplaying the impact. It went on and on and on. So a quick-witted comic who goes by the pseudonym Leroy Stick created an @BP Global PR Twitter account, which was obviously fake, and started tweeting really funny updates that made BP look really bad. In the end, he ended up with about 180,000 followers compared to the official PR account's 18,000. So you can see the dramatic difference obviously there. And he raised over $20,000 for a Clean Up the Gulf fund through t-shirt sales on the site. So it has a great sort of feel-good piece to it. It was also really funny, and sort of everybody benefited except for obviously BP. This is a classic example of how not to do PR in the modern social world, and that's why it made our list. Okay, number 2. Old Spice. You can't talk about social this year without talking about Old Spice. Kicked off in February with the now classic The Man Your Man Could Smell Like video, which has over 25 million views on YouTube now. They won the 2010 Cannes Lion Grand Prix for film. The agency behind this is Whedon and Kennedy. They've done some really nice stuff following that with some other brands, including another follow-up ad, which came out in June called Questions, another video, obviously, with our man from Old Spice. And then in July, they did what was really the brilliant part, which is a few days of doing real-time response to videos to questions that people on the internet were sending in to them. So they basically set up in a studio for a few days. And we've done another episode about this in the past, so you can check the shows on butterscotch.com or statusupdate.tv if you want to go directly to our page and check out our show all about Old Spice. In the end, those videos generated over 40 million views and 120,000 followers on Twitter, and P&G reported that sales of Old Spice were up 107%. So we obviously like this story because it shows the power of viral on the bottom line, reshaped expectations of what it means to engage with a brand online. Everything about this was a brilliant play, and they obviously leveraged the medium perfectly. Number 3, OK Go. Great band, love the album, and the videos have really been what made them. They're a Chicago-based band originally. They're out of LA now. And back in July 2006, when they released their first album, Oh No, they had a single called Here It Goes Again. They made a video for it in their spare time. It was basically the 4 guys in the band with some treadmills, and they did a whole coordinated, choreographed dance routine on it. That video now has over 50 million views across all the different medium that people are watching it on. And it actually created such a stir around the band that they were put in a position where they could cut ties to their label EMI after EMI decided, apparently, that they didn't want people to embed the videos off of YouTube. You could only watch them on the YouTube site, which cut the viewership numbers down to about 1/10 of the level they were at. So OK Go cut their ties, created their own label, are now doing independence, and have continued to make these amazing videos. So from their most recent album, Of the Blue Color of the Sky, This Too Shall Pass, came out in March 2010, and it was a crazy Rube Goldberg-style machine in a warehouse that they set up in LA. It was built by these guys called Sin Labs. It took about 2 days to do the shoot. They had about 60 people working on it, 8 core builders, 12 part-timers, and about 30 people just to reset the machine between takes. Resetting it took about an hour in between, and it took them over 60 takes to get it right. 2.1 million views, 21.1 million views on YouTube alone, obviously on other places as well. There's actually a great profile of the whole thing on Wired. We'll put the link in the show notes if you want to go check it out. They do a behind-the-scenes documentary video. And OK Go won a Webby Award for Special Achievement in Film and Video Artist of the Year. So very impressive stats for them. It's really helped them spread as a band. They've hit major numbers as a result of it. This is all thanks to the power of viral and obviously at the loss of EMI. Going on to story number 4, we got to talk about The Social Network. That was the big film of the year. Directed by David Fincher, who we know from awesome films like Seven, The Game, Fight Club, Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Written by Aaron Sorkin of The West Wing fame, and based on a book by Ben Mesrich, which came out in 2009 called The Accidental Billionaire. It's a mostly true, somewhat fictionalized account of Facebook. If you haven't seen the movie, you should definitely go out and see it. It has very broad appeal beyond just people who are kind of interested in social. It's grossed over $180 million worldwide. And something that's really impressive, on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a fantastic movie review site if you're not familiar with it, it's got a 96% fresh rating from all critics and 100% fresh rating from top critics. That is almost unseen. You almost never encounter a movie that's got that kind of rating. So it really is an excellent film. It's up for almost every major award this year. It's expected to win a whole bunch of them. Now, we know that they took some liberties with the story, so it's hard to know what was real in it and what wasn't, but it's at least somewhat based on the truth, and it's such a compelling story that it's absolutely worth seeing the movie. Speaking of Facebook, our number 5 story of the year is Mark Zuckerberg, who in fact was just picked as Person of the Year by Time magazine, and I think that really tells you how far Facebook has come. Time said that the reason they picked him was for connecting more than 500 million people and mapping the social relations among them, for creating a new system of exchanging information, and for changing how we live our lives. Mark Elliott Zuckerberg is Time's 2010 Person of the Year. He beat out the Tea Party, Julian Assange, the Afghani president Hamid Karzai, and the Chilean miners to get that title, so that was pretty impressive. And you know what I think really speaks to the story is 6 years ago, he was an undergrad student at Harvard. Now he's the Person of the Year, worth an estimated $6.9 billion, on paper at least. And he just signed the Giving Pledge, which was started by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, which is a pledge by American billionaires to commit to donating at least 50% of their net worth to charity. So he's actually doing a whole bunch of charitable stuff as well. Very impressive story to come out of there, and a good end to our top 5 count. Don't forget, if you're going to register a domain, you can go to statusupdate.hover.com. You'll save 10% off. You can also use the Status Update coupon code at checkout and save yourself some money. Thanks for watching. I'm Jay Goldman. This has been Status Update on Butterscotch.com, and we'll catch you next time.